We know that James Clapper has lied to Congress. It'll be interesting to see if there's any responsibility for that. We know that this is also indicative of a real problem we have with our national security apparatus, that there are billions of dollars. Well, it's problematic in two ways. One is that we have incentivized an entire industry to increase the national security state. The other thing that we know from talking to Thomas Drake and Tim Shorrock and Jesselyn Radick is that in the case of Thomas Drake, the reason why he was indicted under the Espionage Act, a prosecution which ultimately failed, the reason why at last report the guy was working in an Apple store when he was, what, like 2 or 3 or 4 in the NSA at one point, was that he blew the whistle on a program called Trailblazer. And Trailblazer was a massive boondoggle, which was to replace a pre-existing program named ThinThread. This was a more narrowly tailored program that was in place prior to 9/11. It had privacy protection built in. It was much more targeted. His boss at the NSA basically threw that out, brought in Trailblazer, which was an outsourced program, was incredibly sloppy, was much more along the lines of a dragnet, was extremely costly and over budget. He attempted to blow the whistle on this. He was pursued for espionage into the Obama administration, despite the fact that the special investigator for the NSA had found that his claims were accurate. Congress later scrapped Trailblazer because it was so obvious that it was a boondoggle. And that is a perfect case of a whistleblower being attacked on national security grounds as a traitor because he was getting in the way of somebody making a buck. That issue is raised by just the existence of a guy who could be working at a Booz Allen, or as what I understand now, he was working for Dell. And I haven't quite confirmed this, but he was working for some other private entity under an NSA contract before he was working at Booz Allen, even while he was contacting Glenn Greenwald in January and Laura Poitras. But we'll get into that in a bit. So you know about this expanded dragnet under FISA. You know about PRISM, which supposedly we are being told by a couple of members of the intelligence committees in the House and the Senate, and by others, foiled the New York City subway 2009 bomber plot by an Afghan-American named Najibullah Zazi. That claim seems to be specious. There are British and American documents that have come out of that person's conviction which contradict the claim that PRISM was involved or was the primary source used to locate, apprehend, and investigate this guy. Apparently, it was simply British authorities who had seized the suspects, different suspects' computers, which included email correspondence between Zazi's contacts in Pakistan. None of which points to information that was garnered through PRISM. But even if PRISM has been used in other instances to supposedly foil plots, that is not an argument that it is necessary or that it's a good idea. Certainly, if we had listening devices in every person's home in this country that were surreptitiously put into people's homes, we could also not only cut down greatly the threats from terror, but things like insurance fraud, things like cheating on your taxes, things like maybe stories about how you jumped the subway turnstile, any plots that you might have to murder someone, any plots you might have to rob a bank. We would certainly also, undoubtedly, if we had listening devices in every person's home and in perhaps the boardrooms of every corporation in this country, we would stop a tremendous amount of corporate malfeasance. We could go on and on. Where do we draw the line? And if this was all a top secret program by the United States government, aided and abetted by literally millions of private contractors and billions of dollars of outsourced contracts, national security contracts, and it was all top secret, and there was no one to blow the whistle on it, how could you go in and say that you have evidence that you're being listened to or listened upon? Well, I found a bug. You can't prove whose it is. So who are you suing? This is the problem that we're facing here. And that is the value of this. It doesn't matter at that point who Snowden is or why he was motivated. That's all secondary, maybe tertiary. The existence of this guy, regardless of who he is, or how he came to this information, or how he got into the position that he's in, or how much he was paid, does not change these basic facts.